What's the closest thing to magic that actually exists? Your mom finding something at first try at the same spot that you looked for it 5 times already. Wi-Fi, a bunch of ones and zeros float through the air and, boom, I have porn on my phone. Carl Sagan describes books as evidence of magic. Someone dead for thousands of years can speak to you through writing. Also DMT. Quantum mechanics. Seriously, at some point you can just declare it is magic and nothing would change. Thermos keeps things hot, keeps things cold. How does it know? Magnets, and psychedelics. Synthetic media. Imagine being able to generate any sort of image, sound, or text that you want. Want to put your face in an action movie? Want to actually make that action movie from the ground up, but don't have any skills in filmography or acting or sound design? Just get AI to do it for you. So far, the most well-known application of media synthesis is deepfakes. And why shouldn't it be? It's something that attacks our very perception of what's real by altering one of the things we evolved to specifically notice in minute detail: the face and other bodily details. Deepfakes represent one of the biggest technological developments in recent memory, perhaps since the rise of the internet. But they've been developing mostly in the background. My only issue with deepfakes is that it's a specific kind of synthetic media method. And because it mainly deals with swapping faces, people think that's the best that neural networks can do. In fact, we can generate entire bodies from scratch. We can also use neural networks to turn simple sketches into pieces of art, as well as animate still images, a la Harry Potter. Not to mention copying voices, almost down to the exact pitch. We've come a long way from Microsoft's Samus. There's also generating text to an uncanny degree. Watch a less than a href equals r. Machines write a story better than you can in real time. And it's coherent and logical, for the most part, to boot greater than machine write. And this is just the 2010s. The generative adversarial network revolution that kicked off this wave of media synthesis is only about 5 or 6 years old. Give it 10 more years, and we could see individuals creating multimedia franchises in their bedrooms with just a smartphone and some generative apps. If that's not magic, I don't know what is. One of the things I've heard is that there's no difference between deepfakes or text generation and Photoshop, and while Photoshop is definitely magic in and of itself, it's also more of a tool. Think of it as like building a house. Photoshop and other image software are like power tools. Media synthesis, however, is more like getting an Asimo or Atlas robot to use those power tools for you. Or in other words, media synthesis is automation, and that's what makes it so magical. It's like Photoshop, but doing all the hard work for you. Butterflies and moths, anything that molts, really. They start out as one bug, build a cocoon, turn into literal mush, then emerge as a whole new creature. It's amazing. Music, with the right incantations and motions, you can alter people's emotions, compel them to dance, or call back long-lost memories. Language has always been magic to me. Think about it. We make symbols, and with the correct arrangement of those symbols we have accomplished everything. Language is the first step in all human accomplishment. Language got us to the moon and made the internet, and will do everything in the future in advancement. Language is magic. Magnetic resonance imaging. Align the hydrogen atoms in your body with a magnetic field and strum them with a radio signal to make them vibrate like a guitar string. Then listen to the cacophony with an array of antennas. Unpack the noise into an opera where each note represents an individual atom and plot them in a matrix. Slice the matrix for a view inside your body. All this was figured out when microprocessors were barely more powerful than a modern pocket calculator. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is similar to magic but is generally looked down upon by magic players. Programming is kind of like magic. You use arcane runes to make stuff happen that you couldn't do on your own. Hugs. Physics. Math. It's a system that has its roots in ancient history and is rigorously studied and not always understood. It can model the physical world to almost unnatural levels and has made predictions about the universe that have seemed insane until actually found. Radioactive decay, changing one element to another, just like the alchemist tried. Electricity. Consciousness. It's crazy to think about. Money is literal actual magic. We believe in a medium of exchange and our belief in it is the only thing that gives it power. With that power we have harnessed the atom, sent men to the moon, created digital communications and processing technology that in and of itself is functionally magic. Cymatics. Performative utterances. A good example is a priest saying, "I now pronounce you married." They weren't married before, and they are now, because of the words he spoke. Magic. LSD or other psychedelics. You just realize how relative everything you see, think reality is really ain't THST. Everything. The fact that we're made of minuscule particles, and that it's made of energy. Closing parenthesis. Apparently spinning in different directions and blinking itself in and out of existence or some shit. But you look at those from a bit farther away and you see structures, cells, primitive and microscopic beings communicating with each other and somehow understanding what's around them is here, fulfilling a function that seems to be just to exist. And then you look from farther away and you see a universe outside that scale. Complex life forms, artificial structures, humans and other life forms, still made from those microscopic beings, none of them the wiser of what they're a part of. But they make you and me, and every other human that ever existed, without even realizing it. And by extension, every technological advancement that exists today. The latest smartphone, you take it 100 years back in time and blow everyone's minds. Take it back 200 years back and you'll be burned at a stake. And the weird thing is that you look farther away, as far as we can see, and what we found is that in fact we're smaller than we could ever imagine. Those microscopic beings, some are so small that they don't even realize when they've been eaten by a bigger thing. In a universal scale, we're not even the molecules that make up those microscopic beings. Someday our galaxy will collide with another, and they're so mind-bogglingly big that nothing on our scale would feel a thing. And still, with all the complexity and variation that exists in the universe, we've learned that, at the most basic level, there isn't any real boundary between one thing and the next. Everything is just energy repelling and pulling on itself, condensing tighter in some places, spreading itself apart in others. Everything's just a bunch of white noise. Time dilation. Fucks me up, dog. Computers do the correct motions and give the correct words, and something very specific in the physical world happens. Visions and knowledge of who knows what come to you through the screen at your command, and even go to your friends hundreds of miles away on their screens. Machines and metal, from cars to microwaves to assembly lines, yet move and act according to instructions given to them decades ago, but can be redirected in mere moments. Intricate problems and complex algorithms are solved almost instantly. Fortunes are made and lost every day from bedrooms and cubicles. You can conjure entertaining illusions and communicate from across the world, and see the other person while you do it. And finally, if you treat these strange devices without due respect and act carelessly with them, you can absolutely devastate your life in numberless ways. And other people's lives too. Witchcraft. Chemistry is quite literally advanced alchemy, so I'ma go with that. The way untouched snow looks under streetlights at night. Reproduction. Music. If you stray away from the charts and find something truly amazing, it can move you through states of consciousness, make you experience intense emotion, and open your soul like a fucking flower. I went to an elite school where after years of training I was awarded the title Master of Science by a guy wearing black robes and a weird hat. I used patterns etched into silicon crystals to channel energy from jars containing noxious liquids. and aluminum into rings of copper which move metals without touching the atmosphere. I knew it would work because I spent weeks arranging Roman, Greek, and Arabic symbols which were abstractions of reality. I invoked the names of those who practiced my art centuries ago. Euler, Maxwell, Faraday, Bernoulli, Lagrange. I was a bit worried that the whole thing would burst into flame. But by surrounding parts of the device with a constant flow of water and purified components of air, I stabilized it enough. No one has done this specific feat before, so I'm going to present my findings to a council which hopefully will grant me and my band the right to use the device's power. Engineers are wizards. Aurora Borealis, Australis, and bioluminescence. According to Arthur C. Clarke, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Clarke's first law: when a distinguished but elderly scientist states that something is possible, he is almost certainly right. When he states that something is impossible, he is very probably wrong. Kindness and its consequences. Fax machines. Like how I'll never understand the four fundamental forces of nature: gravitational force, weak nuclear force, electromagnetic force, and strong nuclear force. For the most magical feeling that I've personally felt: snow. I love snow so much. I can't smell before it happens. My favorite times are at night and it's around 20 to 30 degrees outside. Not super freezing, so I can be outside. It feels like time stops. I'm almost 30 and I still get super excited to find that it snowed at night. It transforms everything for me. A few years ago I found out the main congenital heart defect that I was born with: TAPVR type 3. One of the 5 I have. DRS called, nicknamed the X-ray the snowman sign. So now I say I love snow so much because I was born with a snowman. And that makes it more magical to me, ha ha ha. Also, music. It can reach people in ways nothing else can. To feel music in your soul is a magical moment. It's helped me many times and I'm grateful for it. Rainbows. Your smile. Love. It's like you can completely forget about everything and just be immersed in one person, one activity, one game, one anything. That's truly magical. The harnessing of electricity. When you are stressed but then see something that makes you go, ah, and it's all good. Taking the straw cover, wrapping it up, then pouring your milk over it so that it becomes a snake. Perfectly harmonized voices singing a cappella, and just good music in general. Vagina. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Check out Rupert Sheldrake in his morphogenic field studies. There is no way that me looking at a dog and becoming happy instantly doesn't have something to do with magic. Words. Words are incantations, literally spells. That's why it's called spelling. True magic is affecting change with spells. Your smile, smiley face. Also those twisty things you get when you buy bread. Redstone. Some good food. Emberry changes the way everything tastes after you eat one. Quantum mechanics as hardware. Basically an instant transfer of information is the goal there. The fastest processors. Just a student in say so. I am a hardware idiot but it's still so cool. Anything quantum mechanics. Theoretical physics technically exists by the way too. And not to forget paradoxes such as the Banach-Tarski paradox where you can make copies of things. In math, with AOCs involved. The internet. Our reality and the internet are intertwining so much that it tends to break both universes' norms, rules and laws. I still believe that the internet is a different universe and we managed to bridge it onto ours. Ask yourself this: was as the internet? I bet no one can give you a definite answer. Hence, it is another plane of existence. Another universe or reality. Amazing. This is why humans are amazing. We manage to do shit that is defy reality all the time. Laying down with your eyes closed for so thing that you feel like you're drifting.